Hi there, welcome to the Vimeo recording for Ask Rafa number 9, where Linda, the person who wrote to me, and for anybody who finds themselves in a relationship or going back to a relationship for sex only and maintaining a relationship with an ex sexually and wondering if the separation is wrong. And this is what the cards, I have pre-shuffled the cards. I have also pre-laid them out, and these are what the cards have come out. And I'm going to go straight into the reading to see what guidance Spirit has and what I can give within my interpretation of the cards. Now, I've done a very loose Celtic cross here and then some soul journey cards, as I feel this is very much a soul journey for most people. We're always all on a soul journey, but I find this particular deck by James having an excellent deck for meditating, for chakra colors, and for actually just looking at the mandalas to help heal and shift any of the energies. But let me get on with the reading. Okay then, so the first card that I got was the Gossip card. Now, it's a heart chakra card, which I find quite interesting. For me, what I'm picking up with this card when I see it is I feel somehow Linda and anybody related in the central situation, the current situation is that I feel that you're in conflict. I can feel that this is you, the central figure here, unsure, and there's two people on either side of the card. I feel like in here that there's a sense of judgment. Have I done the right thing? Have I not done the right thing? And you're being unclear and wanting to paint the picture a bit clearer. I think in some way that you do want a heart connection, but you're doubting yourself. And you're also looking to see what would be the right thing to do. Whether you're also involving some friends around this situation and making it into a gossip factor, sort of gossiping about, ooh, I went back to my boyfriend, having sex with my boyfriend, which is also possibly creating some surroundings or some people around you to be judging you and looking, sort of frowning upon the situation. I do feel that in some way you must be free and loose to do what you feel is right, but I don't think you are going to get the outcome you are finding yourself in. This is crossed actually by a sacral chakra card to do with guilt. Okay, I do feel in some way that your attachment to the situation, to your ex, is very much maybe coming out of guilt. You haven't quite worked through your issues, and you are almost also displaying a sense of addiction. In my view, this is a sexual addiction, or any kind of addiction actually comes also from a sacral chakra that is not fully balanced. All right, you can almost see a picture here in the figure, almost with a bottle there, and it kind of says vodka, which is kind of quite interesting. I've not really noticed it before, and this woman's kind of slightly comatose. Anyhow, looking at the picture here, I think you feel that the image around your life is rather one that is bleak. You're wanting to get messages to how to manage the situation, but you are chaining yourself to a situation, a role almost, possibly. I don't know who's initiating the sex and who's going towards it, and whether you're succumbing to the advances of your ex or you are actually going back to him. But either way, there's a sense of obligation and being chained to the relationship, which is, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, if you can see on her wrist, she's got a chain there. So I think this is really important. And with the portrayal of the woman ironing, that's kind of like a role play that you're doing, that you're kind of used to doing what you're doing, which is to kind of act out a role as a woman, that this is what you need to do or what you want to do, and it's some kind of role that you're fulfilling. What's interesting is you got the card of instinct, which is also, this is you not following, this is at the root of the situation, and you've got an instinct to leave the relationship or to review the relationship, and you're now looking back at the situation and the relationship, which is also, again, very natural to do. We tend to look back and thinking, oh, have I done the right thing? Maybe I was a bit hasty, and we start talking ourselves out of a situation. You are guided also with the light of the moon here. There was a lot of clarity around the feelings that you had, and there are two wolves wanting to move forward, but somebody's looking back, and there's a sense of push and pull. It is interesting that you actually have a soulmate card, which is kind of like what's behind you. So it does portray and interestingly inform me that you have left a soulmate relationship. Now, a soulmate relationship also is not a relationship that is naturally you know, happily ever after, and you're going to be together forever, despite what soulmates as a word is portrayed as. A soulmate for me, or essentially, is really a mate, a partner that comes into your life on a soul level, who is to teach you something. And I feel also here there is something that he's opening your eyes to, or maybe you're having to open your eyes to, and become aware that maybe you need to actually look at life much more broadly and look ahead rather than looking backward. Okay, this is also a soulmate. Sometimes is somebody connected to us from the root chakra level as well, where we find ourselves belonging to people. And again, here's the root chakra color. It's about our tribes and stuff, and naturally you'd be quite used to having your ex as your mate because you have been with him for 2 years, and no breakup is easy, especially if you're keeping yo-yoing, going back and forth, which I feel this card for some reason is also letting me know, and it's having you stuck in the middle, uncertain as to which way to go. All right, it's making your heart feel quite sort of uncertain, sort of wavering from one side to the other. What's interesting is in the crowning position we have a a self-worth issue. You know, I feel like you need to find your own seat here, Linda, and anybody else watching. You have an opportunity to engage in your sovereignty, in your own power, and recognizing what you stand for, or what you sit for, if you like. What do you sit on? You know, where are you in this situation? And this is a real opportunity for you to actually recognize that possibly your self-worth is being compromised, and you're compromising your self-worth, and it's an opportunity for you to discover your self-worth. Okay, and our self-worth, everyone has an affected self-esteem, and our self-worth is based on some of the injury we might have had over the years as we're developing, from your infancy to your childhood, or furthermore as you've grown up. But what we tend to do is we tend to project our sense of self and who we are through other people looking at us, rather than what we really feel in the inside. And I feel, Linda, and anybody in this situation, when you break up from a relationship, our self-worth could be also in need for inquiry, and you need to find out really what is serving you. What's interesting is an immediate future, or an immediate what's coming up. I feel that you need to complete the relationship. You haven't quite let go of him. You're still holding him as the ghost in your relationship, holding on to who he was in your life. And this card, again, a sacral chakra card. So sacral chakra for me in the reading was very much emphasized. That was the biggest issue, and is the card for a sexual relationship and pleasure. But it's also attached to a lot of emotions and all our relationships. And here it is very clearly you need to complete it. You need to bury the relationship, or at least bury your differences and let it go. I initially had these cards as the sacral, the chakra wisdom cards, all right, for your reading. And I'm going to open a clarifier for this, but I went ahead as well as I was preparing for this reading to open up the Soul's Journey card, and I found this actually very, very poignant. The first card that fell out, a jumper, was fear. So you're not really letting go because you fear that you're not going to have something more, or maybe you fear that you don't want to be on your own, or you fear that in some way that you can't have the love you want. Now, in some way, there's an innate knowing, an instinct that you knew that this relationship, for whatever reason, your differences and the differences within the relationship and what you wanted in life has become apparent, and now you're being tested to really see if that is what you actually want. And it is a fear that's having you go back. Okay, and what's interesting is the mantra here, or the affirmation here says, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So in some way you're being tested to really claim your own love for yourself. Okay, it's very important that you become honest and congruent and get to the center of your truth around what you want in a soulmate as well. Okay, it is very easy to project and think that we want something from somebody and not actually get it, and then stay or feel like going back out of fear of not having what you want, and also fear of releasing something in order to make room for the new. So I would suggest that you work on your fear, or recognize that you can actually abandon your fear. And I'll also help this in the Vimeo to follow, which is the video meditation with the chakras. Okay, that followed another card was change. So this is definitely very much indicating that you're afraid of change, and the change is very much required. Again, a sacral chakra color orange is a main source of this card, and it says here, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So the temptation right now for you is to go back. Yes, but really you can't grow or evolve until you move forward, and to be able to sort of see to make some movement. Now, since you're going back, I would recommend that your change is to go forward in your solo journey. Here also, I got 4 cards that popped out all together. Okay, very much in this order. And the first one was grief. And I totally agree, in which I didn't mention, that you need to actually grieve the ending of a relationship. It is very important that when we don't grieve, we tend to hold on to the debris, the memories, the energetics, the auric field, and anything that has attached to memory, that has glued us to the person or a job or any situation really. And it sometimes is very difficult, but by doing a ritual, almost like a burial of your own kind, so maybe you can write a list of what didn't work, why you've gone through differences, or write a letter to yourself or to him that you don't send, and actually burn it or bury it, so you can actually really let go of the relationship. Again, what I will do in the meditation is for you to be able to cut the cord from him, particularly around the sacral chakra, so you have an opportunity to grieve as well as you have an opportunity to let go. The affirmation here is, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So perhaps also an opportunity for you to write what you feel that you've lost, and maybe recognize what you do have, and give thanks for what you did have. Okay, you need to be very honest here with yourself. All right, it's very, very important that you are honest, because by being honest with really what you want, what the difference is, and sticking by it. So if you actually wrote and can recollect what he said he didn't want or wasn't getting, and what you do want, by looking at it very clearly and seeing if it matches, and it doesn't match, stay with it. Okay, I know it is very tempting to sometimes go back at the time of your heart hurting and feeling that you're missing that person, wanting to be with them and remembering the good times, but we tend to forget the times that we actually were really bored, or maybe that wasn't fulfilling us. Okay, and it's really important that you ask yourself and be honest about, did he really fulfill me? Am I being fulfilled? Okay, now it's very important for you to be honest about it, and you also have to ask yourself, am I being honest that only having sex with him is what I want? And clearly it's not, because you're attempting to go back to the relationship and think the separation is a mistake. I recommend that you also trust the process and trust the guidance that you did receive initially, because that is also the card that has supported you in the decision making, and you need to trust that. Okay, we tend to go back on our instincts and our intuition, and you need to trust that that is taking you forward. For reasons maybe you don't even know why, but nevertheless, that is how it is. You need to maintain some balance again back into your life, and this is what will get you back to your heart, get you back to your core and back to yourself. You need to really spend some time shedding the tears, and then also going out and having fun, or allowing yourself to rest, say, while you engage in some grieving process, and also allow yourself to come through. And when you feel jovial enough to go back out, do so. Take some time out, and maintain some integrity to what you really want, so you can bring harmony back into your world. And now I am going to choose another clarifier, as I said, and I'm going to use this chakra card for this gossip card. Okay, here we are. Yeah, interesting. Okay, you need to forgive yourself and forgive the relationship, and maybe forgive him, and go back to your inner child, because here we are, we've got this need for forgiveness. You see the baby cradling itself into something a lot bigger than it is, but very gentle nevertheless. And I feel that this is what you really need to do. You need to forgive the relationship for not working out and for yourself, and maybe, you know, allow for the dreams that have been broken to be released, which is also the completion card here. Okay, so as a clarifier, let go by forgiving him maybe for not being clear from the word go. You don't say whether that was the case or not, but sometimes we go down the trail and we find ourselves that what we want and what we've been looking for is not really what we've got, and you need to sort of bury the fear and any attachment that you have in releasing and completing the relationship. Okay, sometimes the tone also is, it's a very bittersweet thing. You know, you've got something beautiful and actually it's not worked out, and it is a very bittersweet moment, but you have to trust that that is what is there for you. Now also, I'm going to look at the bottom of the card here as well. I forgot to look at the other one, and in fact I did before I did this video, but I shuffled the card so I forgot what it is. But nevertheless, we'll just continue with this. Here's a card of surrender as well. So at the back end and the energy of it, you really got to surrender to where you're at, and in some way release the need to control, because sometimes when we go back and have sex with a partner as well, it's a form of control, it's a form of not letting go, it's a form of fear, it's a form of all of that, is a sense of controlling a situation. And you possibly by thinking, well, if I give in to his whims or to keep myself attached just sexually, what you're really doing is you're not allowing for the release, and you're controlling the situation and controlling the breakup, and slowing down the process. I have one more deck I'm just going to choose a card for. This is a Wisdom of the Oracle card by Colette Baron Reed, and it's a divination oracle, which I totally love. We'll just see what the overall message or clarifier that the oracle can give you. Oops. Okay, let's see. Okay, what's interesting is here you're questioning why. All right, maybe why did it happen? What have I done? Have we done the right thing? Have I looked at the situation? Why, you know, why is this now? You know, why didn't I look at it maybe before? Or just generally why? And what's interesting, it's opened up with an inverted loyal heart. So I feel like in some way that you feel that somehow there has been a rejection, if you like, of your relationship. I'm getting a feeling that's probably come more from him than it has come from you, although you say by mutual agreement. Sometimes you both might sit, but I think it could be a weighted situation where you know clearly that if somebody else had dominated the split up. Either way, whether it is you or him, it is very important that with the inversion of the loyal heart, it is something that's now has turned on its head, and there's no loyalty there anymore. And you might find yourself that actually you might get hurt by continuing to have sex with him as well, because there'll be a point when he will decide to move on to somebody else, and you will feel doubly betrayed there, because you've betrayed yourself through your lack of self-worth of holding on to something that you know has really come to an end. Okay, we tend to sort of talk ourselves out and be dishonest, and you really need to get honest with where you are at with the relationship. Forgive yourself for, you know, the relationship and maybe not getting your needs met in the way you had thought, and suddenly come to the realization. Let go of any guilt around it on for yourself, and I would say that it is a really good time to let the relationship turn itself as it has and move forward. Okay, I'm just going to choose another one here. Yeah, this is time for you to mend yourself and mend your heart. All right, this is some mending to do. You need to actually go away and allow yourself to heal what you need to heal. Heal the rifts, you know, heal your heart, heal your thoughts. Go out and maybe find yourself a playmate where you can actually maybe have a chat and mend what was not happy for you, and know that by mending and being truthful and, you know, and actually sort of building up a new possibilities, that you'll be guided to the next situation. It doesn't, for sure, what it does say to me is that currently the relationship has ended and you really do need to grieve. I think that is something that must happen, and you need to complete it. And the cards totally indicate really that there is a change and there's a fear of change. And either way, you have to let the change happen. It can't stay where it's at. So in order for anything to move forward, and if you were to even think about mending the relationship with him, you have to actually let go and really test the energy of love that you deserve. Allow the change to occur by moving forward and moving on with your life. Keep on harnessing on the honesty and the trust of the situation. Maintain some balance by being good to yourself in every way that you can, through the balance of play and rest, through the balance of seeing people and not seeing people, and just allow the truth of your next chapter to be revealed, and you will know why, eventually, why this had to have happened. And I think you'd be very grateful that you stuck to your guns and the relationship has ended, and you releasing the need to continue having sex with him, and more importantly, actually doubting whether the separation was right. So I hope this helps anybody who finds themselves in this situation. It is a very common situation, and this is why I've chosen this letter and this problem to be solved, because a lot of people do find themselves in this situation, and we tend to sort of act out a sense of disloyalty to ourselves, which really highlights the lack of self-worth that we have. Good. So I'm going to leave it here. Namaste. I hope you got something from this reading and has helped you on your journey of change, and know that by being honest, you will find your new path evolve and lead you to a more balanced and harmonious life. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.